We're all good on my end.
Good shape. Let's rock and roll. We will call to order the first and only meeting that we're legally obligated to have out of the year. The first salary board meeting. They told us that we do legally have to have this meeting. I asked, and they said we did. So here we are. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Prestipine,
Here.
Commissioner Steelvogel,
Here.
Commissioner Vogler,
Here.
Commissioner Boyd.
Here. I'll note that we're being live streamed right now. It's being broadcast via YouTube. We're also being recorded internally for our purposes and compiling the minutes into that. And if anyone has business before salary board or a row officer who's not customarily a member of salary board has business to bring before the board, I'd ask they come up and speak into that microphone there so it's picked up for the minutes. Are there any public comments today? There are none. I'll note we do have an all-star cast of characters in the audience today. This is the first time the row officers and the courts have all gotten together, I think, in the same room since this time last year. It's certainly good to see everybody. Is that a public comment? I see there, Rich.
It is a public comment,
Oh,
public
boy.
request. Do you think it's possible that we can get a group picture of us all together since we're all in one room?
No.
I don't have a problem with it. Okay.
Question's gonna be if we stick it around, because I know that the judge, I think you have court.
You're waiting for me to
Okay.
go upstairs.
You want to take it real quick?
If not, we can always come back around to it at some point. We'll get a group photo eventually.
We'll crop him in.
We can do that.
Well, not we, someone will. Not I. Okay.
But moving along, minutes from the November 19th, 2001 salary board meeting. I'll give my colleagues a minute to check those over. And then, I'll take a motion to approve or make any changes as necessary in speaking.
So moved.
We have a motion or a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. First on deck today, we have the courts with President Judge Amato. Judge, always good to see you.
Good to see you. Well, I'll make the motion that the judicial secretary assign to courtroom 3, actually, I know the paper just says courtroom 3, receive an increase of $3,000 with the increase being removed if the additional duties are not eliminated. So if I can make that motion, and if there's a second, then I can give the explanation.
Second.
As you may recall, last year, the judicial secretary, who I had at that time in courtroom 1, was awarded extra $3,000 for year to typing for the conciliation conference master. And that was so that was a move or raise for that individual. Unfortunately, that secretary passed. And since then, those duties were taken up by the judicial secretary in courtroom 3. So what this is basically doing is asking that stipend be transferred to the person who is now doing that work, which is the judicial secretary in courtroom 3.
So all we're doing is taking a stipend from one position, moving it to another.
That's correct. It's not new money.
Great. And I'll note that and we'll, motional and the resolution will be amended instead of one of the same 3. Sound good, everybody?
I got one question.
What do you got?
These that we're approving the cost of living too, the cost of living goes first, then the $3,000.
Yes. Yep. This isn't pay yet, this is base, this is. Any further questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll make this resolution 2020-1. Actually, I was pointing at you for a second, thinking it was going to be some big number, then I realized this is number 1.
This is the first one.
We'll go from there. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Judge Amato,
Yes.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Steelvogel.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And number 2, and this is just our customary cost of living adjustment resolution. We do this annually. Cost of living adjustment for all full-time and part-time, excluding summer interns. Employees is non-union and management, and solicitors is 2%. Union employees shall be compensated per their appropriate union contracts. And because this is the courts, this applies to courts, district justices, adult probation, domestic relations, juvenile probation, and the law library. Are there any questions or comments on this one? I hope there aren't, because we'll get about 16 more of these. We'll make that a 2022-02. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
A motion to second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Judge Maloney,
Yes.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, yes.
Judge, I'll be up there, Luann's up there, waiting for you, and then there's some attorneys that are gonna wanna talk to you and I.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Up next, we have the district attorney.
I did notice we're missing one.
We are missing one. I'll tell you what, though, we're gonna have to call another one of these here in the next couple of weeks to adjust the salary for the elections director. We appoint a new elections director. You didn't have any need to hire the individual we were going to before the end of January, did you?
No.
Okay, so we'll fix that here in 2 weeks.
Okay.
But first on deck, we have a minor restructure in the office of district attorney, moving one detective to a sergeant position, getting rid of that detective position, replacing it with a sergeant position with a salary set at $49,000. Board of Commissioners, I believe, has already approved the CBA amendment for this resolution. Questions, comments on that?
I would move the board, to adopt the, resolution as stated by Commissioner Boyd.
Second. A motion and second on 2022-03. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
District Attorney Lamacusa,
Yes.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Salary Board Resolution 2022-04. This, again, is just a pull-up resolution. I'll note that it does say Labor 964. The rationale for that is that I don't believe we've received formal notification that union's transition over to Teamsters. And so to that end, until such time as we receive formal notification from the members of that union that they are in transition, everything still Labor is 964 for our intents and purposes. But again, 2% for full-time, part-time, non-union management and solicitors, and all union employees, both 964 and detective, shall be compensated for union contracts. Do we have a motion?
I would so move it.
Second.
Your motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll for 04.
District Attorney Lamacusa,
Yes.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you. Russ.
Thank you. And I just,
Thank you.
please, just let me know when you do it. Obviously, that's for the mental health.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, we have commissioners. All the offices which fall under the Board of Commissioners make this 05. This is just the annual cost of living adjustment. Again, 2% for all of our non-union folks. All union employees shall be compensated per union contracts, and the departments include commissioners, maintenance, voter services, IT, personnel, MHDS, Veterans Affairs, planning, recycling, solid waste, solicitor, assessor, public safety, public defender, tax claim, and children and youth services. I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Controller, same thing, 2% for non-union management, and AFSCME will be compensated for the union contract. Make this 06. Questions or comments on this? Hearing none, I'll take a motion.
Motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion is second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. 07, we'll get Corner on the phone. Bear with me for a minute here.
Let's call it. 007 for him.
Hey, RJ, this is Morgan. How you doing? Hey, we're gonna go into the vote. Yep, very quickly, all you gotta do is say yes when you hear Vanessa call your name and we'll be in good shape. This is for COLAs for the coroner's office. All full-time, part-time, non-union management employees and solicitors shall receive a 2% cost of living adjustment effective January 1, 2022. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Coroner Johnson.
Yes.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thanks, RJ. Goodbye. Up next, we have the jail. Salary Board Resolution 2022-08. Now let's be resolved. All full-time and part-time non-union management employees shall receive a 1.5% cost of living adjustment effective January 1, 2022. All union employees will be paid per the union contract, and the union contract sets the wages for all union at 1.5%. Questions on the motion?
I'm curious as to how this differs or why this differs, 1.5 versus the 2% that we seem to be doing overall.
Same principle as, at least my thought process putting it together, same principle as last year insofar as the management gets what the employees get. Rationale there is that forever there have been hard feelings over at the jail. And, personally, I don't want to see a scenario where cost of living adjustments are for one grouping of those individuals are higher than another, again, for the purpose of camaraderie.
It's not the only place in which this has happened throughout the years. I would prefer that it be 2% so that we're consistent, but we'll see how the vote goes.
I mean, I'll tell you what we can do here, if you'd like to see that, is we'll take a motion to approve, and then I'll take an amendment if you'd like to make that motion. Although that I'll be voting no on the amendment, but I might be in the minority there, if you'd like to handle it that way. So
I have to be honest, I forgot that we made this different for last year.
Mhm.
And I know that we had a mix in the vote as well with that it was not a unanimous thing. And if you want to do the amendment. I don't know budgeting wise what that falls into. It's only management.
there are 16 management employees, 16 or 17 management employees over there.
I thought it was like 12 or 13.
But we're only talking half.
We're talking 0.5% in there. I don't know what that,
I don't know what it comes to.
okay. We can take the amendment. I would not be opposed to that. Consider, at the beginning, I thought we have 50 employees there, that's too many, but considering that it is a few,
Mhm.
I would be in favor of voting for the amendment.
All right, so first of all, I'll take a motion on the what will be O-08, which again will be at 1.5%, and we'll make a motion for the amendment. So we have a motion on the,
So moved.
do we have a second?
Also,
We have a motion and a second. Are there any amendments?
I'll move, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll move to amend the proposed resolution, changing the 1.5% cost of living to that of 2%.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second on the amendment. I'll note that once this resolution goes through, we'll still have to pass the original motion. But the amendment is on the table at changing 1.5% to 2% for part-time and full-time non-union management employees. Question on the amendment, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Controller Prestipine?
yes.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Commissioner Boyd?
No.
Motion carries.
All right, so it's amended to 2%, and now we will take a vote. Resolution 2022-08, as amended. We have a motion and a second already. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Controller Prestipine?
This is the main one. So the
At
last
2%.
vote was for the amendment. This is for the resolution.
We're voting on the 1.5.
We're voting on 2.
On the 2%.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, see what- yeah, we have to amend the vote, yeah.
Yes, the voting was to amend it.
Yep.
Yep, I got you.
Controller Prestipine?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Commissioner Boyd?
No.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Up next, we have Pro. Jody, how you doing today?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Good job this morning.
Thank you.
You swore to a lot of people. First on deck here, we have what will be 09, the creation of a confidential specialist position at an annual base salary of $36,500. That's just a position that's needed for the office. I'll note that it's not an increase in the
Right.
number of positions in the office. It's, yeah. Thank you. Do we have,
Could you explain for
what
me
it
at
is,
least?
yes.
Since we're creating a position, how does it become a decrease so we have that on the record?
There was 29 employees, now there's only 18, plus myself is 19. This was supposed to be, fines and costs that have been on the books for years. And it's to and it's a new, it was supposed to do last year with the COVID. It didn't. I have the orders of court. I can enforce and take the driver's license. I need a person to do it all. So IT with the company, it has no cost for the county. The defendant pays for all the costs. It's just laying money out there. So I need this created
Go get that money.
to get the money.
Understood. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Your motion,
I motion to move to adopt.
do a second.
Second. Everybody.
Everybody wants to go get that money, Jody.
We'll go with Press Pine for the second. We have a motion, second, any further discussion, hearing none, question on the motion, please call the roll.
President Terry
Yes.
Controller Prestipine.
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes, with a quick question, forgive me. This was incorporated into the budget, was it not?
Yes.
Thank you. I stand with my yes vote.
Commissioner Boyd,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Up next, same type of thing here, position of one's a confidential specialist, this one's collection specialist, shall be created $36,500, same concept
On the monetary side.
on the monetary side. Do we have a motion?
I motion to move to adopt.
Do we have a second? A
Second.
little more hesitation.
I
We have a motion, a second, any further discussion, hearing none. Question on the motion, Beth, please call the roll.
President Terry
Yes.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes, and I have a comment, forgive me. I want to thank the Terry Clerk of Courts for the supporting documentation. That's very helpful.
Mhm.
Thank
It
you.
was supposed to start last year, but through COVID, and there was a lot of employees laid off, but these are salaries and they're always there.
Thank you. I stand with my yes vote.
Commissioner Boyd,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. And up next, the cost of living adjustment resolution, again, 2%, full-time, part-time, non-union management employees, union employees compensated for the union contract. Do we have a motion?
I motion to adopt it, 2022.
Do we have a second? Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Beth, please call the roll.
President Terry
Yes.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you, Jody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jody. Happy New Year.
Number 11.
We're up to 12. Register Reporter Crawford. You may approach the bench for the first time. Come on up. Yeah, you don't have a choice. We're not giving you anybody call us.
Boy, hearing that, register and reporter
Oh,
Crawford.
my,
Wow.
for the first time, congratulations. All right.
I just want to note that there have been no period of my life which I have lived where anybody other than Calajane has been a reporter.
Yeah, right. Yes, you could say that. That's right.
So just to give you a basic background here, because I know this is your first time at the in the firing line. What we do every single year is pass cost of living adjustments for employees. This is the one meeting that we're actually legally obligated to have per year as per the county code. Very simple in this specific instance. I'll just run through it. 2% non-union management employees, et cetera, receive cost of living adjustment. And then union employees shall be compensated per your union employee's contract with Lawrence County. That contract is ratified by the Board of Commissioners. In the future, should you ever have a salary board request, your process for that is you reach out to me, you say, hey, I'd like to do this. I set up an executive salary board meeting. We go over the details because it always relates to personnel. And then from there, we either have a salary board meeting or we don't have a salary board meeting where it's formally voted on. So traditionally, and I know to answer the comment here, traditionally, again, I'll go over the resolution here today, but traditionally, whatever row officer is voting is bringing the resolution to salary board. So in this case, this is your resolution. You make the initial motion and then one of us would second it as permanent members of salary board.
Okay.
Do you have any questions on that process?
No.
Yeah,
Thank you. One thing I would make is a very friendly suggestion, and sometimes this happens, and I don't think anybody does it intentionally, but please don't forget the fact for salary board that Mr. Prestipine, or the position of controller, is a permanent member of this board. Sometimes we get memos relative to salary board matters, and the three of us are included, but the controller isn't.
Okay.
And again, I don't think anybody does that on purpose. But please don't forget, his vote equals Mr. Boyd's, which equals mine, which equals Commissioner Steelvogel's. Don't forget the controller.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So again, right here, we have before us salary board resolution 2022-12, which gives all full-time, part-time, non-union management employees and solicitors 2% cost of living adjustment effective January 1, 2022, and all union employees shall be compensated by the union contract. I'll also add, in the event that we don't have a union contract in place, whether it's because in most cases it's still going through negotiations, those employees will receive no cost of living increase or cost of living adjustment until such time as contract is approved. But I'll turn it over. Do we have a motion for salary board resolution 2022-12?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We'll give it to Loretta this time around.
Do you remember the first year, was it the first year I motioned for every single one of them to go forward until your predecessor said, okay, I was just like, let me just do this in case nobody else wants something. I will never, ever forget that. It was embarrassing, but it's one of those moments now I'm gonna chuckle about it. So now I just want to second that.
What's your name of the minute?
I want it there. in the
Let's face it,
minutes.
during the commissioner meetings, you generally make the most.
That's.
So it's
Mhm.
only fitting that in this instance, you get to do a
We
second every now and then.
rephrase them, yes, and know that they're there, yeah. So I've done my due diligence and I know what's coming, therefore I can make those motions.
Well, we do have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, and when Vanessa calls you, just say yes. Although I don't think it'd be very popular
No, I don't
with that.
think so
Vanessa, please call the roll.
Register Recorder Crawford,
Yes.
Controller Prestafine,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you, good job.
Congratulations, happy new year.
Thank you.
Up next, 13, we have Perry with the Office of the Sheriff. Perry, Prospectus, how you doing?
How's everybody?
Doing good, just trying to get through this one.
Happy
Thank
new
you,
year,
Sheriff.
yes.
Sorry, we're resolution 2022-13. In the Sheriff's Office, all full-time, part-time, non-union management employees and solicitors shall receive 2% cost of living adjustment effective January 1, 2022. Union employees compensated per union contract. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
I'll second.
That's Dan's time,
I
right?
was waiting for Loretta.
We have a motion, second, any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Sheriff Valera,
Yes.
Controller Prestafine,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes,
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you, thank you.
thank you.
Mr. Chairman, before you ask Mr. Rapone to come up, very minor point, but I'm wondering, given the fact that even though this board doesn't meet all that often, but with Mr. Rapone being here and Mr. Prestpine being here, the five of us do meet, I think, 4 times a year as the retirement board, at least 4 times a year. I'd like to suggest that perhaps we invest, wouldn't cost us a lot, in nameplates for Mr. Prestipine and Mr. Rapone, if you folks would be so willing.
Oh, I don't care.
Absolutely, great
Thank
thought, yes, definitely.
I'm looking up here, and
Yes.
the 3 of us have ours, but
Right.
Dave doesn't have one, and we'd need one for you when we meet as retirement board, just a thought.
I think that's a great idea, yes,
Now,
absolutely.
Could come out of each of their budgets, maybe.
Yes, no.
Yes, yes.
Like this, see? Just like this, Richard. Don't start, right here. This is it. We have the prototype.
Thank you for that.
That's what you get, Richard. That's the best we can do. We can do paper if you want. I mean, we are. But anyway.
We don't know.
What do you say?
He just said,
I said,
well.
my name's long, I'm gonna need a bigger one.
You need a bigger one, David. Yes.
Rich,
sir.
come on up here.
Alrighty.
How you doing today? Happy New Year. Today we have resolution 2022-14, again, full-time, part-time, non-union management employees and solicitors shall receive 2% cost of living adjustment effective January 1, 2022, and union employees shall be compensated for the employee contract. Do we have a motion? We have a motion, is there a second? We have a motion, a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Treasurer Rapone,
Yes.
Controller Prestafine,
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you, thanks, Rich.
I say for the record, you've only had a great auctioneering technique.
When you wanna move the meeting along, you get
I'm
used to
telling you.
it.
Oh, yes, he does.
I appreciate that.
You should see,
Second
read some
career.
of the
Third
longer,
career.
some of the longer resolutions that we have
Oh,
Getting it
I don't
through
really
the
do it, I don't
entire
really do it anymore because we do all the things,
in rapid time.
but Jesus.
Thank you,
Yes.
Connie.
Thanks, Rich.
Thank you, happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Okay.
Up next, unless there's any objections, we won't vote on what would have been the next one under Controller A, special buffer approval to eliminate controller solicitors fringe benefits. Found a workaround to that one. Any objection to just passing by on that?
As long as the controller has no objections.
No objections.
No, I have no objection.
Okay.
Go on to the next one, 2022-15. Setting base rate for chief deputy controller at $55,000. I'll note this is generally in line with the base rates for other chief deputies out of the row offices. So I'll take a motion for that.
Motion?
Motion to a second.
Second.
Motion second, any further discussion, hearing none, question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Controller Prestipine?
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes, with a brief question. This is number 15, right?
Yep.
Thank you. I vote yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes. Oh, no, it looks like we don't have a 2022 annual COLA resolution for this.
We did it.
Oh, we did it already?
Missouri.
Oh, my bad. Thank you,
Motion carries.
thank you. And last one, resolution 2022-16. Position of audit manager is eliminated, position of pension administrator, created a salary of $46,500. Do we have a motion?
Motion?
We have a motion, do we have a second? Second. We have a motion, second, any further discussion, hearing none, question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Controller Prestipine?
Yes.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, any new business before the board? Seeing none,
I appreciate, just a comment, just two comments, very brief. First of all, appreciate, because you read my mind regarding the elections office, obviously. Appreciate your willingness to reconvene the board because we do need to make some adaptations there in light of the fact that Mr. Allison passed away. Secondly, and Debbie would remember this, and maybe Rich and the sheriff would recall, this is probably one of the shortest annual salary board meetings in my time here. Many years, we've had some pretty lengthy ones. So I give you a lot of credit for keeping it as concise. So that's great. Again, this may be the shortest one I can recall. How about you, Debbie?
I used to last for hours.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
we're not doing that anymore.
So congratulations. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys, salary board adjourned.
Debbie, do you need my packet? I don't know. Hopefully someone will give Nick their packet.
If you
I like that suit.
You want my packet, I will take it.
I like that suit.
You have it? I just.
You turn back, I got it.
Little things on it.